Welcome everybody to another episode of Agent Pursuit. Today we are here with Elise Montgomery of Elise Montgomery Coaching. Elise, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
And I have known Elise for probably 10 years, I guess. And since I started with CIR Realty, and we'll hear about your story in a second, but we wanted to have Elise on today because we know that something that's so important in building any business is great focus. And I know that in part of coaching, I imagine working with your clients, focus is a huge part of it. In fact, if there's no other reason to get a coach, just staying focused and clear in your life, I think is a great, great thing.
Yeah, of course.
So Elise, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited.
So tell us, let's start from the beginning. So share with us your background, because you do have a background in real estate, and then you transitioned into coaching. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I started real estate right out of university, which is pretty rare for a realtor, I would say. Yeah, sorry, Mom.
Yeah. My mom feels equally disappointed in me.
So right out of university, I went into real estate, and it was an interesting time in the market because it was right at our boom time. So in a very short window, I got to see a ton of different markets.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so it was really exciting and gave me a ton of experience in a short amount of time.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was really exciting, and I got to be, worked up to top producer level with CIR Realty.
Yes, you did.
So that was awesome. I really enjoyed that. It was interesting though, like I got the sales part down, and that led me to doing more and more and more, and I'm sure a lot of agents can identify with this. You're inching towards burnout, right? You're working nonstop, you're going.
100%.
So there was one distinct moment where I was working. I started at 5 a.m., diligent, focused.
Yeah.
And I came home, and by the time I was done all my appointments and showings, I was done at 9 p.m. And I came into the kitchen and I just crumbled.
You're like, this is it.
You know those moments where it's just that ugly cry on the kitchen floor? That was my distinct moment. So I made a vow to myself that I was going to rebuild my business in a completely different way that would serve me and my clients at a way higher level.
Nice.
So I rebuilt everything, really focusing on time management and providing a higher level experience for my clients. So by doing that, I was able to bring it up to multiple six figures while working close to part-time hours.
Wow.
Which I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's so rare in real estate, and good for you for being able to step away and see the forest from the trees, or go above that, I guess. I think maybe there's a saying now with a drone or something. You got to get take the drone out from the forest to look at,
Right.
So congratulations on that, because that's rare.
Thanks.
And now we might end up diving on that. Maybe we'll do multiple sessions with Elise.
So that was a really huge accomplishment, but that wouldn't have happened if I didn't have that ugly cry on the kitchen floor and switch directions. So from there, I continued to have, great success, working reasonable hours, which I was really, really proud of.
Nice.
And then I got asked to head down to California to interview with the top real estate coaching company in the world.
Nice.
So I took that opportunity, and that was an amazing ride. I learned a ton, met a ton of cool people, and it was a really great adventure.
Cool.
And from there, I really saw a need for focusing just on women in real estate and then service-based professions.
Totally.
There's certain things and certain dynamics that we have that are different, so really speaking directly to them and focusing just on them. So that's led me to here.
Now, when you were coaching with the organization, did you coach with women and men?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I have like three things. Okay, let's hold on to that for a second.
Okay.
Women and men and different dynamics in terms of coaching, because I imagine that even with staying focused, each one is going to have different challenges.
True.
So let me take a step back for a second and talk about when you made the transformation in your real estate business. Did you need to take, like when I talk to people about that, I always say sometimes you need to take a step back, where it's like, you made, I don't know, $180,000 this year. You need to be okay, position yourself to make 120 or 130, because that's going to get you to 300. And if you sort of, because you need to be okay referring out some things at the beginning to free up that time. Did you have an experience where you had to take a step back in order to jump forward? Because wouldn't your next day just have been just as busy? Like you crumble on the floor and you're like, oh shoot, I still need to get stuff done. So
right. Yeah, I think it was, being really strategic with it. I
Nice.
don't think, for me personally, I didn't take that step back for the drop in income.
Yeah.
I had a coach.
Good.
Kept me accountable.
Nice.
And we had a clear plan that would focus on bringing more income in while bringing in systems and leverage to really help me. Yeah.
So just chipped away at it as much as you could and got that done. Okay, let's go back to the male female thing here for a second.
Sure.
Yeah. So what have you noticed yourself? You said you found a need for women. What was different about the time you spent with men and then what you saw with the women's side of things? On what they need, like what was that need specifically? Because I think that'll resonate with some people.
Sure. So the big difference that I see is specifically with sales, women feel like they're being very salesy and very pushy when they're asked to call their clients or follow up on leads.
Right.
Whereas men, and obviously this is a blanket statement and every person is individual.
Totally.
But overall, there's more of like a hustle and grind mentality. Let's get after it. Let's go hard. So that clashes with women because they may have different responsibilities at home as well.
Totally.
Right? Kids, family, maintaining the house, all that sort of stuff, which sounds terrible and cliche, but
no,
if they do have kids at home, it's tough to have that hustle and grind mentality and working those 12, 15-hour days. It doesn't work well.
I know many women that are just like, obviously equal rights and everything, and I agree with all of that. And then that biological clock, ticks, and they're like, oh, I want a family.
Sure.
And you're like, oh, well, and I want to spend time with my child, especially in the early years.
Yeah.
And then that's a natural, that's and I'm grateful for it because who else is going to, if you didn't do it, then we need to. We always joke about guys being like, oh, I got to babysit my kids today. It's like, well.
Terrible. Don't get me started.
It's like, it's probably parenting.
Right,
but,
right.
And I even know a bunch of men that were just like, I never thought, I thought it'd just be a hindrance. Then all of a sudden you have a child and it's like, life changing. But women, I can't imagine. And I'm very, this is why we try to, even our most, bringing Audra onto our team and then now Chloe was something where we said, there's just things that I will never be able to fully relate to as a male, period.
Sure. And on the flip side of that, women have so many strengths that they're not tapping into. Like they are great at connection and empathy, and those things aren't really celebrated in sales. But if we do focus on those things, they can really amplify their business in a really cool way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So you've taken, let's talk about leaps of faith for a second here, because you've taken a couple leaps of faith. What'd you do your university in? What were you hoping? You used to get in university. What was the plan?
Right. So the plan was to go to law school.
Okay.
So I even took the LSATs.
Really? Did you do poli-sci and then do the LSATs?
I didn't. I did history.
Okay.
Yeah, with a minor in law and society at U of C. And the goal was to go to law school. So I took the LSATs, and while I was waiting for my results back, I was really interested in real estate anyways and thought that I would invest on the side.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll just do the real estate course just in the meantime. And then I thought, what am I thinking? Like, I love real estate. Do I want to be stuck in a cubicle articling for 12 hours a day?
Yeah.
So I made a huge course correction and got into real estate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And get into real estate, you don't have any income. Were you living at home then? And
No, I was out on my own.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How'd you make ends meet early on?
So at the very, very beginning, first few months of my career, I did get a part-time job.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I think is smart advice for people just starting out, just because there's so much you need to learn.
And there's some people that are just against, oh, you got a part-time job and you're a realtor. It's like, I know so many people,
it's
some
a
of
good thing.
Some of the the biggest names in our industry, some of the people that have done very well, they all had to do it because you have no income at the start.
That's
you have
right.
no income.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
but it also gives you that fuel to your fire to get after the results that you want that much faster, right?
Yeah.
So it's a huge motivator when you just jump into it.
Nice. And then you were working for a coaching organization, which I imagine sent you clients. Mm-hmm. And then now you have to say, okay, I'm going to now do this on my own. Mm-hmm. And you got to get your own clients. Mm-hmm. And I imagine they're very, the contracts are very clear that you must get your own clients.
Yes.
Yeah. So Tell us about that. Tell us about that transition and that leap of faith at that conference. Were you scared? Were you, like, how did you feel about it? Was it just excitement?
It was a big internal debate to take that leap or not, but I kept on getting so much feedback that there was such a need for it. And I just couldn't deny that need.
Right.
Right. So I kept on seeing it come up again and again, people that were really wanting someone that could focus on women in those service-based industries, you know, not only making way more and kind of releasing their potential, but also reducing their hours.
Right.
So knowing that, like, I had the social proof that there was a really big need for it.
Totally.
So that helped take that jump.
Well, and even internally, I always say that,
Yeah.
you know, if you like something, chances are somebody else likes something too.
Fair.
And for yourself, you know, being with her, you had your moment of change and the epiphany, and coaches helped you through that too. So
Right.
I just got to say for, you know, the audience, and coaching has transformed my business too.
Amazing.
Like Ian,
very cool.
I've had a coach since 05. I've had the same coach now since 06. So for 12 years.
Wow.
And we meet once a month, and I just, it's transformational. It totally is. I can attribute so many of my mentality, strategic positioning in my life and my business to coaching. So, you know, kudos to you for embarking on this endeavor.
Well, and it's been amazing to see transformations with my clients, right? Like last week I had a client that paid off her mortgage because her income had increased.
Right.
So to hear that, that's so fulfilling to be on the other end of that and hear that transformation. Another one tripled her business in 2018.
Wow.
And reduced her hours that she was working by close to 20 hours a week.
What?
Like, it's just
That's like a part-time job. That's like the opposite. That's like the anti-part-time job.
Exactly. So to get that time back but increase your income, you know, those are really big things.
Amazing.
Even one call I remember so distinctly, this is like my highlight.
Yeah.
We were on the call reviewing her numbers, and she realized on that call that her new monthly income was what she used to make in a year.
Wow.
So to see that and, you know, to be a part of that feels so incredibly fulfilling.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. We want to talk about focus today.
Yes.
Which I have not been doing a very good job of so far in the interview.
Great.
The irony of things.
Right.
Okay.
Don't follow our lead, guys.
Yeah, right back on. Do as we say, not as we do. So what role do you believe focus plays in building a successful business?
Yeah, so you had asked me this before, and I was thinking about it, and I really don't want to be overly dramatic with it.
Hey, just...
It's everything.
Yeah, you know, and I'm typing out the question, and I'm like, it's basically, I'm like, and I don't want to have an overly, like, an obvious question.
Right.
Speak to that for a second. So because it is everything.
Yeah, it's really the difference between hitting your goals or not, right? It's really the difference of staying where you're at or growing.
Yeah.
Like all those big juicy things you want to get after, none of that is going to happen if you don't have focus. So it's so critically important to get you to where you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a direction, then, you know, what are you working towards, or what are you working on? Okay, so let's obviously we know the importance of it, but people struggle all the time, and there's various reasons why people struggle.
Yeah.
So what do you see as common themes when you work with your clients of what's pulling them away from focus?
Yeah, so I have 3 common themes that come up all the time, and I'll be interested to see if you find the same thing.
Okay, sure.
So the first one, for realtors, I find that we have like a magpie brain where we love to go after anything shiny, right?
Totally.
And people are constantly marketing to us, and it's the best of the best marketers.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we have the very best intentions with focus. I think that's the thing that we have to be clear on. Everyone wants to have that focus. They want to hit their goals. It's not like they're, you know, blatantly self-sabotaging themselves knowingly, right?
Totally.
But this marketing that we have pulling at us, you know, should I get web leads? Should I get a website? Should I be doing video emails? All of these flashy things. What about newsletters? What about postcards? All of these things are coming at us non-stop.
Yep.
And it derails our focus because we have a plan, and then we see all these things. Oh, I'm going to miss out if I don't do that. I'm going to miss out if I don't take that opportunity. And I think that, you know, it has to be balanced. There has to be that room for innovation and growth.
Yes.
Right? Taking on those new things that are coming up, especially with social media.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
But if that's our focus, where we're just darting around to every new shiny thing, we're never going to get anywhere.
You know, I got to give Richard Robbins some credit, because I heard him say it, and it was such an elegant way of putting it. He calls them opportunity traps.
Right.
And I just think that is, exactly what they are. It's like these opportunities, but they're traps because, once you set your plan, put your blinders on. And if you want to take that 5% time to test a new avenue that you're playing with in the background, and all of a sudden you start getting results, okay, you can integrate that, but you're so right. I love that magpie brain.
It's true, there's all these beautiful shiny things and they're presented so amazing, and the catchy headlines that we have, this will triple your business, this will give you an extra $100,000.
And ads on social media, and these guys are just like, open houses are dead. This is dead. Or are you still struggling to try to get leads for your website? I'm going to show you how to. And really, and every time I end up embarking on one of those rabbit holes, I realize, oh my gosh, this is nothing new. They're just talking about this concept or this concept.
Right. And not to say that there's not a place for that innovation. It's so critical.
Totally.
But if we're stepping away from all those foundational pieces that we know will get us to that next level, it's going to be so hard to maintain that track that we're on.
So when you're talking to your clients, then how do you handle that when someone says to you, it's like, oh, but I attended this event, and we call it the availability bias, where if you take a seminar on landing pages, suddenly every problem in your business is because you don't have enough landing pages.
Right.
And so how do you talk to your clients about that?
Yeah, so there's a number of ways to do it, but you can have your main lead pillars that you're working on that will produce those results for you.
Totally.
Your foundational pieces, right? Those can't slip.
Got it.
So if those are good and stable and you have the time to dedicate it to it, go after it, right? Try out those new things, play with it, have fun, but those foundational things have got to be in place.
Nice. So it's make sure that's even the good to great. Talking about make sure that main flywheel is moving. And,
exactly.
And rather than deviate, don't be zenith. That was the example.
So that's my number one, and then the other one that I see a lot is for focus to work, for us to get to our goals, we have to do some things that make us very uncomfortable. And people, I'll find often, will shy away or they'll get derailed from their focus because they don't want to step into those things that make them uncomfortable.
Oh, it's like they feel that resistance, and then they think, I'll just do something else.
I'll work on a project.
So
a key example that I see nonstop is, I know that I need to call my database.
Yes.
But I'm scared to reach out to them and I don't know what to say. I know it's going to get me where I need to go. I know I need to focus. But I think I'll work on my listing presentation, right? Have you seen that one?
Oh, all the time.
I was super guilty of that as well.
Oh, I think we all are.
Yeah.
It's whatever, that this big thing is going to push you towards, and you nailed it. It's like if you don't know how, or you don't know what to say, you're uncomfortable. And lots of the times people believe they're bothering people because they're not coming at a point of adding value or thinking about they're thinking about themselves.
Sure. Yeah.
And I mean, that's a little bit from Ninja there, but I totally agree that the resistance is huge. So how are people overcoming that?
Yeah, so it's really getting clear on where are those areas where you feel vulnerable and you're pushing away because you feel vulnerable.
Right.
Let's solve that. Let's face it head on. Let's get you super comfortable with it.
Yeah.
You're going to see the results. We're going to know that there's going to be some failures in there. That's part of it. That's fine, right?
Yes.
But if you start to see those results, then you get more excited about it. You can jump into it deeper. And then your business can really amplify.
Yeah, huge. Yeah. Okay, so we said first one, obviously those next shiny penny syndrome of bouncing around and not diving in. Second one, obviously the fear, the vulnerability, trying to step inside of your comfort zone in order to go in. Was there a third one?
Yeah. So the third one I see come up a ton is, life is so busy and pulling us in so many directions.
Totally.
So that's a huge one where I see, people just max out. They don't have the capacity to stay focused because they have so much going on, kids and family and partnerships and friendships and hobbies and interests and business things pulling us in so many different directions,
totally.
Which is easy to solve, right? If we can master our schedule, we can master our priorities, we can say no.
I was waiting for that because that's, we're all guilty of it.
Right.
Even I'm so grateful that you would say yes to come and do this interview.
Yeah.
But this is something else. It's like, I wasn't planning on doing that on Friday, so why would I come in and or Monday morning for those of you watching. But how do you, let's start with that just for a second, because this is something that's very selfish, so this is my time. I feel like I should lay down on the couch and how do you say no? how do you say no? Someone says to you, I want to, and I guess you're at different points in your business, but it's like, I want to go for a coffee and pick your brain.
Sure, yeah. So I find this, especially with the women that I coach, people pleasing is a big thing, right? It's a big problem that we have. So just getting very, very clear on what your priorities are, what your goals are, and having that filter. Will this move me closer to my goal or further away?
Right.
Right? And just being very cognizant of that. Also mastering your schedule. So maybe you do have social time that's blocked out. Perfect. I'd love to have a coffee with you. Let's do it Friday afternoon.
Perfect. During your social time.
Yeah.
That's already and that's a good thing too. It's like, some of that stuff, you never know where opportunities will come up, but as long as you're controlling the where it happens.
Right. So for me, when I was rebuilding my business, a big part of that was, is this going to give me my time back, or is this going to make me more money within the realm of business, right? And if the answer was no, then I had to say no to whatever opportunity came up.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. What about back to that distraction thing? Talking about parenting for a second here, because I know there's a lot of parents out there.
The distraction. The distraction of parenting.
It's true. It's like, well, so you have a kid who, you're about to, you planned your day around doing this, and also the school calls, because your kid is, the bane of my existence when I was starting a team, I almost made a rule, and I never did. I don't know if I should say this on camera.
Here we go.
But it was just, what is Lindsay going to say next? But it was just like, I don't want anybody that has kids, because, and obviously I didn't, but it was just, but anytime it's like, we had this team meeting, and it was like, oh, sorry, we got a dentist appointment. Oh, sorry, we got this. Oh, I got to go pick up my kid from school and things like that. How do you, and I couldn't, at the time I was 25 years old, I was very unempathetic to life in a lot of respects. Yeah. I've grown as a human being. But how do you handle that? Like because if you run your business and you're in the thick of it now, and even yourself, you have, how old is your kid?
He just turned 5.
Just turned 5. So not necessarily in school yet.
Right.
And you have a coaching call to do, or you have a series of items that you want to do, your own marketing, things like that, and something happens.
Sure.
How are you handling it?
Sure. So first off, the something happens sort of situations, if we look at that and suck out all the drama,
yes,
it really doesn't happen all that often.
Okay, there you go.
Right, so that's just good perspective, right? These big dramatic moments that you think will be like a weekly occurrence.
Yeah.
Maybe every 6 months something's going to come up, and you can have a backup plan in place.
Totally. And if you have to reschedule something once every 6 months, no big deal.
Right, but never ever make a habit of that. Like, learn to be really proactive with your schedule rather than reactive.
Nice.
So that's the huge difference, right? Something that I focus on a lot with clients is getting to a stage of proactive rather than reactive. So dentist appointments, great. Have an afternoon booked off where that's your time to do projects maybe, and then if there is an appointment that needs to be had, plug it into that time and you're great, right?
Yes.
So your time is really well protected. Another thing that I see happen with distractions is getting away from those things that will move your business forward. So your money-making activities. So not your projects, not your marketing, but your actual sales activities that deliver results to your business.
Totally.
Right? So have those time blocked off, and those are sacred. Nothing gets in the way of those. Those have to happen. And that's just, dedicate an hour a day to that, and your business will totally transform.
So true.
But we let life get in the way. We let emails get in the way. We let a call to a home inspector get in the way. We let a call to a lawyer get in the way. Could that call have been delayed an hour and you get after moving your business forward first?
Let's talk about that for a second, because some people have this, and I struggle. I think I need a little bit more of the other side, but some people struggle with when an email comes into their inbox or something like that happens, they have to respond to it. It's like niggling at them in the back. It's like, oh, this is a loop that's left unclosed.
Right.
How do you talk to people? Because those exact moments, it's like the lawyer is saying, we haven't got the paperwork yet.
Sure.
Or the home inspector is like, I can't do Tuesday at whatever. Can your clients do, Wednesday?
Sure.
And you're about to go in and do your 1 hour, 2 hours of business building activity. How do you set that aside? Or where do you talk to clients about that? How do you stop that?
Right, yeah, so it's interesting because all I'm talking about is 1 hour in the morning. So let's say it's 9 to 10.
Yeah.
what will happen if we don't answer
that's
those
the key.
emails
It's like
from 9
nothing's-
to 10?
Yeah, you could have been at another appointment. You could have been at the dentist with your kid.
Yeah, you could have had that $1 million listing appointment,
That's
right?
right.
Are you answering emails in that? Of course not. So value that time just as much as you would a high-end listing appointment.
Yeah.
And your business will just jump up.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. People putting that focused time in for themselves. And it's so funny because then the alternative is I see some people that struggle to make it in real estate, and then they end up at a 9-to-5 job, and it's like, well, now you're doing the activities, your focused time,
Yeah.
building it for somebody else
Right.
versus building it for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, if you just put that time in. So
Right.
anyways, yeah, no, that's absolutely great.
The cool thing about that too is I see once people are really dedicated to just that hour, they feel so accomplished at the end of the day.
Yes.
And it's not about packing your schedule with, 15-minute increments, right? It's just dedicating those key tasks. So there's lots of flex time. But at the end of the day, they feel like they've accomplished so much more than if they're just in that reactive mode of responding to emails, responding to calls, that sort of thing.
Totally true.
Yeah.
It's like those boulders. It's like the big things
Yeah.
that you put in, and I tell people that too. I say, if you finish your your hours of business building, I don't care what you do for the rest of the day. It's like,
Right.
take it off. I mean, for the
Right.
most part. Of course, there's other stuff that you want to grow, and you can work in your systems and build stuff, and you're servicing clients. But the fundamental pieces that are in there that will help you grow your business is completed. So.
And that brings us back to that point about, life getting in the way. We think it's this big dramatic thing and you're being pulled in all these directions. But if we just prioritize these tiny chunks of time,
Yeah.
we feel so much more accomplished and get so much more done.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Because there's some people in life who have the kids, who have lots of stuff, sick parents,
Right.
other people, and they just handle it.
Yeah.
And there's some people that they get a hangnail, it seems like, and it's like
Right.
drama.
Right.
Because I
Right.
like how you said drama, because some people are addicted to that and hooked on that.
Sure.
And I think people need to check in
Mm-hmm.
and just say, there's people with worse problems here that are just dealing with stuff in life. Oh, okay, no, I got to make arrangements. This is a bit of an inconvenience right now. Fine, I make arrangements, and it's off to the races.
But again, we have the very best of intentions and we
Totally.
feel the weight of all of those pressures and we just don't know yet a different way, right? So having someone else to say, hey, here's what we can do instead.
Yeah.
Simplify it, take that pressure off, can really, really help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, back to coaching.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go back for a second, just in terms of strategies again. So
Yeah.
we had said we talked about the distraction of opportunities and too many things. Let's just go through the strategies again for deal to each one of those. So let's talk to the three.
Yeah, sure. So I have a few that I think would be really great for all three, actually.
Fantastic.
First one is accountability. Number one,
Beautiful.
right? And Tim Ferriss talks about this a lot.
Yep.
That's what led him to his level of success. I know you're a Tim Ferriss fan.
Yep.
So he talks about how that really transforms his results that he gets. So, and accountability can be found in a number of different ways, right? That can be in coaching, it can be in mastermind groups, it can be from your brokerage, but you need that person that's not going to give you the niceties all the time. You
Yeah.
need that person that's going to give you that little ass kicking, to push you out of your own way. Because sometimes we're so deep in it, we can't see how we're blocking our own success.
Totally.
So just getting after that accountability radically changes it and really holds you to that high standard. The next one is working in smaller chunks of time. So especially in real estate, we're so focused on these 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plans, which are great, but so much can change.
Totally. Oh gosh,
Right?
absolutely.
And we also, just the psychology part of it, we think we have more time. So if we set a year goal, oh, it's fine, it's only Q1, I have more time,
So true.
right? So really focusing on 90-day plans is awesome to keep you hyper-focused and build those results 90 days, 90 days, 90 days. And then you can, recalibrate, get to your year goal easier because you have that, pressure of time on playing with you, right?
That is so funny that you say that. I'm literally reading, and just about to finish it. It's called Measure What Matters.
Yes.
And
yeah.
it's they're talking about Google and the Gates Foundation and Bono from U2 and how they use OKRs as this thing. And one of the things I literally have in my calendar right this second is move all of our goals to quarterly.
Yes.
Every single one of them.
Yes.
And it's funny you say
Yeah,
that because
it's
I
crazy.
haven't even talked to our team about it yet, but I'm like, we're literally going to scrap all of our annual goals. Not really. You'll have big picture directives.
Yes.
And overarching themes and visions of where you're going to go.
Yeah.
But when you talk about agility and Scrum, and moving the projects forward, there are going to be quarterly results that we need to end up seeing. So I love that.
It's amazing. So another really good resource on that is the 12-week year, that book. I don't know if you've read that one.
I haven't.
So check that one out, 12-week year.
Cool.
And it goes over those principles. But it's interesting because also when I say so much can happen over the course of a year, look at real estate and the changing markets. If you have one goal and one plan and there's no room to course correct,
Yeah.
what are you going to do if the market shifts?
Yeah.
Right? So if you have these 90-day goals, it gives you that flexibility to course correct quickly.
Yes.
So you're not this big bulky machine trying to move when it's too late.
And gives you enough time to work on it. And I love what you said, because you give yourself a constructed deadline. It's like people work better with deadlines. Like there's just no question.
So on a smaller scale, on the micro scale, this also works for your schedule. So like we were talking about that hour chunk of time.
Yeah.
Give yourself a smaller chunk of time to work within, right? So I don't know if you've heard of Parkinson's law.
I have.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
So good case, right? So
just tell them what it is, because if you give you'll use as much time as you give yourself to do it.
Exactly. So if I give myself 4 hours each day to do paperwork, guess how long it's going to take me to get my paperwork done?
Totally.
Right? But if I shrink that, I'm going to get a lot more creative and figure out how to get it done in a smaller amount of time. So I love this for working on your schedule, looking at that where we can tighten up those timelines.
Totally.
And you'll get so much more productive. And then you'll have way more time to give to your family and your friends and your hobbies and your interests. So that's how you can get a lot more done in a lot less time, is just really mastering that schedule.
Love it.
Yeah. So I have a pop quiz for the schedule
for
you. So something that I love to do with my clients or when I'm speaking is get everyone to pull out their phone.
Yeah.
Take a look at their schedule that they have in their phone.
Yeah.
If I was to come and take a look at that, could I easily identify what sort of goals you're up to? What's important to you, what your priorities are?
Yeah.
Right? And typically what happens is, well,
I'm like, as my heart palpitates slightly, I'm like, is this, my phone's over there somewhere.
but if you're watching do this, it's really, really
so
interesting
true. Yes.
to take a look. And then you can say, I'm not being focused day by day or week by week on my goals because it's not represented in my schedule. How on earth am I going to get to 200, 300, 400 grand?
Love it.
If I have zero time in here for prospecting each day, for example.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Or if social media is a big part, where's my social media time plugged in?
Totally.
Right? So really looking at that and taking that pop quiz to see where you would rank yourself, right? Is your schedule a clear reflection of the goals that you have and the focus that you want to have in your life? And that doesn't just mean business, right? That could mean,
Absolutely.
clear cutoff times for your workday and then you have family time, right? So, or health, that's a big one.
Yeah.
So if you have huge health goals, where's that represented in your schedule? Do you have your workouts in there? Do you have your meal planning in there? Do you have your grocery pickup? Whatever it may be, schedule it so it happens.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. It's funny, I never thought of, Parkinson's law as pertains to workouts, but I've now started working out at noon, and I've fought to be the 5 a.m. guy or the 5:30 guy, and it just doesn't work for me. And then when I get home at night, it doesn't work for me. We have a gym now in this building, and it's phenomenal because now I go at noon, but what it does is it says I got to be done, showered, everything else in 50 minutes. And now I get in the gym and I'm like, gotta go. And you just start right away. There's no, come in, take myself a photo of myself
Checking
in
the
mirror.
playlist
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plan what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, so it's really interesting stuff. So do the pop quiz. It's really cool what can come from that. The next one is, I think you'll like this one, to saturate your brain. So if we want to stay focused, we have to saturate our brain with all that good stuff to keep us on track.
Yes.
So some easy things are even your phone lock screen. The background photo, that can be your goal, your passwords. I heard that people are picking up their phones almost 400 times a day.
I believe it.
So
if it's within reaching distance.
Right, so what a great opportunity to reprogram your brain to focus on your priorities, focus on what's important to you, focus on your goals, have that show up on your lock screen or as your password, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah, even a simple income goal, that could be your password that you type into your phone. Right?
Awesome.
So doing that 400 times a day, what a cool way to just pound that into your brain what you're getting after.
Love it.
Same thing with podcasts and YouTube videos and all this dead time that we have, plug in your brain with all this good stuff. There's so much awesome, inspiring content out there that will keep you on track, keep you focused. Take advantage.
I have this speaker, and I've talked about it many times before. It's called the UE Boom, and there's a waterproof speaker. It's a Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah.
And I listen to either Goalcast or TED Talks when I'm in the shower.
Right,
and
right.
That's what I do. Or it's a book or something,
Yeah.
and it just regards to saturate your brain. I'm the firm believer if you get everything else that's negative, it's going to be saturated in your brain. So why not control the input?
I really feel like doubt is such a cancer in our business.
Oh,
and if we
huge.
If we allow doubt and those negative thoughts to get in, good luck. Right? It's
how many of you are doubting yourself right now in some aspect of your life?
Right.
It's huge.
Yeah, and that can be such a game changer, just to flood our brain with those positive reminders and people getting after big goals and being inspired. And again, this doesn't mean hustle and grind, work 16 hours a day.
Totally.
This means take in that good stuff, get after what's really important to you.
Love
right?
it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Another one is the morning routine. So something that works really well for you, that gets you fired up, that gets you on the right track, rather than reading the crummy email from the client, the offer's falling apart, and that's how you start your day, right?
100%.
What if we could start our day reading something really inspiring that would move us forward, or reviewing our goals, or meditating, or moving our body, whatever is going to really fire you up and get you in that right frame of mind, and that's different for everybody.
True.
But find that, right? Find that great way to start your day so that you're starting on the right track.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
The other one I have, especially for real estate, is to get away from the negative Nancy's. Right? This comes up a lot. So there's a lot that are having a tough time in the market, and they are happy to share.
Yes, absolutely.
with anyone
and
that will
misery
listen.
loves company.
Yeah, exactly. So really be careful of who you're spending your time with and how that's affecting you. And that's so important. Those people that you're surrounding yourself with, they can either take you to that next level with them or really bring them down.
So true. You and I previously were just talking about what are we doing at CIR in this, and I will give a shout out to the weekly huddles.
Yeah, it's
and
awesome.
Just from the concept of exactly that. It's we have this section, and it's so every Wednesday morning in your respective office, we meet and the managers facilitate. They're not there to teach, just facilitate. And one of the questions we have, what are the trends in the market? Well, it's easy to be like, well, no one's coming to open houses. No one is doing this. I'm getting no showings on my listing. Okay, well, what's the opportunity there? And you got to rewire your brain to be like, well, actually lower price ranges are moving. So instead of spending my ad spend on, I want to get into that $700,000-800,000 or $1 million plus price range, which is 3% of the market. It's like, why not look where the prices are moving, and you're focusing on stuff that's under 400 or under 450, and you're moving to those price ranges, or you are you're looking at move-up buyers versus other things. There's so many different possibilities here that are available and opportunities for you to work on. And people sometimes just get, and then the people around them start, obviously intoxicating in terms of, or just being toxic. Yeah. We were at one of our offices for a Christmas lunch, and this one person sat down and is like, it is the crappiest market, and this is garbage, and I can't do anything else, and I feel sick, and blah blah blah. And it was like we all looked and sat down, and one of the realtors finally piped up. It's like, no, it's not. Like what are you focusing on? Like, are you kidding me? And I said to people, it's like, so sales were down 16%. They're not down 60%. Like, quit acting like they are.
Right.
So, anyways, I totally hear you. And then at the huddles, we also have it where people can track a scorecard as well. So add a little bit of accountability in there. But I really encourage people to look at coaches as an option, because it's so powerful, and it's an investment, but it's worth it many times over.
Yeah, and in surprising ways too, just your confidence in how you show up for your clients and how that changes how many deals you're closing, like so many different things. I have some clients I'm so freaking proud of them. They were doing open houses, and we worked on their open house strategy in Calgary.
Yeah.
They were able to increase their open house traffic by 400%.
No, it's impossible. No, open houses don't
The
work.
market is terrible.
Open houses don't work.
But it just shows, right? It depends on what you're focusing on and what you think is possible and where those opportunities are.
Well, and even setting a clear objective and
Yes.
a goal. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm going to sit down and say, I didn't get any traffic to my open house, so how am I going to fix that?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Instead, they're like, well, I'll try another one next week.
Yeah,
And they go to
what's
another
on Netflix?
Yeah, literally, it's
Yeah,
insane. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
Maybe Bird Box will help me get more traffic to my open house. Okay, awesome. Let's talk for a second about tools for a second here. Any tools that you think can help people? We've talked about a few things. You mentioned a calendar. Is there any special type of calendar? Are we just talking about calendars on your phone? I mean, keep it simple. What other things do you find can help people? Or maybe reiterate some of the things you mentioned. I love that thing of the password, and even Face ID now. It's like, change the password on your computer. I'm logging my computer all the time.
Right.
That could be your password with your goals and such. So talk to us about tools for a second that you love or you use.
Yeah, I don't think it has to be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And people think that they have to,
Fun. Technology.
Have it be super overwhelming. Start with where you're at, build up to what feels comfortable. So schedule like just a Google Calendar that syncs with all your devices is so easy to keep you on track, right? Getting after good resources like great books, great podcasts, great YouTube channels, easy stuff. Go where you're inspired, go where you're fired up, right? It doesn't have to be this big, ugly task, right? Just go where you're lit up, and that will kind of lead the way. Obviously, I think coaching is is great, right? So that's a huge one. And also, I think people don't recognize the opportunities at their brokerages enough either, right?
Totally agree.
So that's really underutilized, and that's a huge resource that they're already paying for. So why not take advantage?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Tell us about, actually, first of all, quick sidebar here. Podcasts. Any favorite podcasts you're on right now, or things you like?
Oh boy, I could go on all day about this. Ed Milet is an awesome one. I don't know if you've checked out his. Andy Frisella, potty mouth to the extreme, but like really great points that he gets across.
Nice. And are these business related or real estate related?
They're not real estate related. And then there's also like so many great classic guys that you can search for, right? Like the John Maxwell's and all that. Podcasts are awesome because you can use it during those sneaky moments, like when you're driving in your car. We know we're in our car a ton.
Yep.
So grocery shopping or walking on the treadmill, right? Like all these tiny little moments we can be plugging in. Rachel Hollis is another really great one for the women. There's so many out there.
All right, we'll have to swap some names after this.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Let's wrap up here on giving some advice to people. So what advice would you give someone who is looking to get their business off the ground? They're new or they haven't done a lot of business up to this point. Some advice for them.
So this instantly brings me to that Tony Robbins quote, "Success leaves clues."
Totally.
People have done this before. Make it so much easier on yourself. I wish I learned this one, 5 years earlier in my business.
Yep.
But it took me going through the trenches, inching towards burnout before I figured out, people have done this before and can help me get there. So there are so many amazing people and resources out there that can help you get to that next level. Shave years of frustration and, turmoil off of your business and get help.
And trust the process. We have this practicum, we have the bachelor program resources all available online, and even the practicum program. It's like we have it laid out. Or people that took Ninja or anything. It's like just do it. Take that advice you had with the focus and the scheduling. It's like focus on that. Spend that 1 hour getting those tasks done, and you will see the results. You can't. And if you don't see the results because of your open house, you got tons of traffic but no one's converting. Then ask that question. It's like, hey, what are you guys saying to convert? I got lots of traffic, but I'm not converting anybody. Or I'm calling my clients, but I don't know what to say. Well, that's an easy thing. But the bigger problem is you're probably not calling your clients.
So an awesome way to kind of figure out where the logjam is just start tracking your numbers. So if you're tracking your numbers and you say, okay, I'm making 15 calls a day, but I'm not getting any results, cool, what do we need to focus on?
Totally.
Right? Or if I look at your numbers and you're not making any sales calls, what do we need to focus on, right? Like it becomes so clear when you have the numbers in front of you. It's that data without the drama behind it.
Love it.
So it just really makes it that much more more simple for
Love
you.
it. Success leaves clues.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Steal somebody else's idea. That's modeling. It gets into business, so it's modeling.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give someone who is looking to take their business to the next level? So now they're making 6 figures and they want to get to that multiple 6-figure point.
Yeah. So for that, I really think that you need to get out of your own way. Right? We've built up some habits. Maybe they're not so good, but they've served us well. And we've built up this business that has taken us to a good point, but now we're ready for great. So we really need to find out what our blind spots are, see where our growth opportunities are, and get out of our own way. So having someone else kind of look at it because they're not in the weeds is really, really helpful to have you jump up.
Yeah. I love it. And I love that too. Is that I see a lot of people with that too, is that my worst thing I see is people like, oh, end of October, I hit my goal already. So now I'm going to coast for November and December.
Sure.
And I'm like, that is exactly, we talk about that thermostat, right? Like you heat up till you get to the right temperature, and then you heat up till you get to the right income. And if the temperature's below, you're like, oh gosh, like I haven't hit my goal yet, I gotta go, I got mortgages to pay, kids. You're out there hustling, and then all of a sudden you hit it and you just go, oh, you relax, instead of actually, being deliberate about putting the tools in place or the strategies in place and then taking it above there.
But maybe that's a blind spot that they have no idea that they're doing to themselves each year, right? That's so common. We don't know what those problems are until someone comes in and says, hey, what about this thing?
Totally.
And then there's no more hiding, right? So I think that's a huge one, just getting out of your own way. Removing those blind spots.
And that would be definitely coaching, masterminds,
mentorships. Yeah, there's
absolutely.
So many different ways. Even speaking with people outside of your industry, right? That's a really great one because we get so caught up in everything real estate, right? There's one trend and we all go off to that trend.
100%.
So even getting advice from people outside of the industry is really, really great.
Love that. Plus you just make some great contacts and business contacts
overall. Win-win.
Huge. Yeah. Elise, I can't thank you enough for coming on and doing this with us.
Of course.
If people want more information about your coaching, where do they go?
Yeah, so social media is Coach Elise Montgomery on Facebook and Instagram.
Beautiful.
My website is elisemontgomery.com. I have a new sales course coming out next month, which is really exciting.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so you can sign up on the newsletter on the website to get updates when that comes out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I encourage you guys to check it out. She's super engaging on social media. I'm going to be following her. Success leaves clues. So appreciate that. And I want to thank you guys for joining us today. I'm trying to say I got in trouble for saying you guys so much. And so this is something I'm going to be working on. Please, thank you for joining us today. Gary, appreciate that. Also, big shout out.
So much better.
I got a phone call. I'm like, so I gotta work on that. We all got our own internal battles we deal with. Remember to check us out on agentpursuit.com. Follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook, and check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast, or specifically iTunes. And we'll see you guys next week. And thank you so much for joining us. And Elise, thank you so much again.
Yeah, of course. It was such a pleasure.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Take care.